गणपति बापा मोरिया। या कुंदेन्दु तुषारहार धवला, या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता, या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा, या श्वेतपद्मासना, या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला, या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता, या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा, या श्वेतपद्मासना, या ब्रह्मच्युतशङ्करा, प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता, सा मां पातु सरस्वती, सरस्वती।
Sunny Jai Shri Krishna. Om Shanti. Good morning to you all. Today we've got subject of affirmations. What is affirmation? Affirmation can help strengthen self-worth by boosting both your positive opinions of yourself and your confidence in your ability to achieve your goals. We talked last week about journaling, and I hope a lot of you have experienced journaling. Today we've got Brother Biru, who's going to talk about affirmations. So can I invite Brother Biru, please, and introduce yourself?
Om Shanti, everyone. Greetings of peace and Jai Shri Krishna. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. And yes, my name is Biru. And I thought it's worth mentioning that I really like the video, the woman to woman, the introduction video that you were just playing right now. I found it quite nice and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just finished university and I started to work. And I've been practicing Raj Yoga meditation since I was 15. So that's like 7 years now, going to be 8. And I felt like it has really sort of changed my life, in other words. And so today's topic is power of affirmation. And we've just got a beautiful sort of introduction about affirmation, like sister just spoke about what it really means. And really I thought the topic at the start, I was thinking power of the mind, and then I realized, yes, the mind is really powerful. The mind is very powerful enough to really uplift someone, really give someone blessings and make them feel really good. But at the same time, the mind is very powerful to put someone down as well and hurt someone. So I felt like the call of the time is really affirmations, positive thinking, using the mind in the right way, because the mind is a tool. And it's a nice quote that comes to mind. When you master the mind, you master the world. And if you see, everything starts off with our mind, the way we think. What I think right now, I radiate to the world. So every thought I have is actually a force. And every thought I create has a ripple effect on the environment. For example, if I think of something from the past, something maybe traumatic or something very emotional and sad, just in our mind, maybe we can just close our eyes and just picture a moment where, we're not going, like the situation's not really good. But how would you feel? The effect we can already see in our body, right? You become a bit more nervous. You maybe some people start shaking, some people already start to feel down, but that's just the power of the mind, right? We're sitting somewhere, maybe we're in a good position, we're in a good environment, but we just went back in time and thought about a situation that was not pleasant. And straight away we can see the effect on our body. So that's the first example that actually what we think has an effect on our body, but not only on our body, but also the environment. Now, moving on to affirmation, I felt like affirmation is not just being positive. Being positive about a situation is like saying, it will be okay. But I felt like affirmation is a bit more elevated, a bit more higher. You're not saying, it will be okay or something. You say, I am okay. You're basically putting a statement. It's a statement, and you're saying, I am that right now. And a lot of the time, if you just think about it and if you just say, I am peace, if you just say something really like powerful, like I am a peaceful being, I am really powerful, what tends to happen is sometimes our mind rejects that. When you say, I am peace, your mind's like, really? I just go into argument. Am I really peace? You know what I mean? So I always felt that affirmation is a way of reprogramming our mind. It's a way of programming our mind to think in the right way, in the right direction. Because when a situation happens, we start to think fast. Is that true? Have you all experienced that? Yes? You start thinking like, oh my God, how did this person say this? How could he say this? How rude is this person? So all of a sudden we have hundreds of thoughts flying across our mind. And, there's a nice saying, it's not about like how fast you go, it's about which direction you go, right? You can go fast somewhere, but if it's the wrong direction, you go to, you end up somewhere not good. In the same way, in terms of our mind, we kind of have these rush of thoughts, but there is no direction. There's no one saying this is the right way to think, or there's no one directing the direction of our thoughts. So it's running fast, hundreds miles per hour. And soon a problem that's this small becomes a problem that's this big, right? It's over the head. I cannot even sleep, right? When a problem just goes from here to this, you can't even sleep. Your mood is really down. You don't feel like talking. I've experienced that as well. When you're in this problem, or when you when you're thinking so much and you're really stuck in a problem, it's like, for example, me holding, let's say, a balloon right in front of your face. When I'm holding when I have a balloon right in front of your face, are you able to see past it? No, right? All you can see is a balloon, right? So that's what happens when we're in a problem. When we're in a problem, the situations in front of our eyes is actually blocking the overview. And then I've always felt that affirmation is a helping hand. It's like you're in a big hole, and affirmation is a hand that really picks you up, and it brings you out of the hole. It saves you. The situation's not really good. We don't always have control over the situation, but we have control over our mind. We are the director of our mind. And I can only speak from my own experience. So something I wanted to sort of, this happened quite recently. So in my workplace, I was lucky enough to be allocated to this sort of mentor. And this mentor, he's the main sort of manager who sort of reports to the head of the company. So, and he's quite young. He's only 30, whereas all the other managers are quite like elderly. So a question arose to him. It's like, what did you do that's quite different to others? Because it's just been 8 years, but you've already in this sort of position. Not saying that, everyone has their own journey anyways. But he gave a very sort of interesting answer that really touched me. And this coincidentally happened just a few days ago. He said,
Sorry.
that's right. He said, the way you act should be the mirror of the person you want to be. The way you act should be the mirror of the person you want to be. And I was like, whoa, like that's quite interesting. He said, if you want to be a manager, he said, already start thinking like a manager. And I was like, okay, fine, I have a meeting. So how am I going to really think like a manager? So I was like, what I did is just for a few like sort of minutes, I was like, okay, let me just place myself in the shoes of a manager. And I'm going into this meeting. When I'm going to this meeting, all the information I hear as a manager, I would want to know every single detail of it. Otherwise, if I'm just going in as an employee, I'll be probably just like half the information that comes to me to just fly over my head. And I'm like, oh, when is this meeting going to be finished? But as a manager, you're taking control, right? You need to know what's going on. So I realized how powerful our thinking should be and how our thinking really has an impact on our destiny. We all have situations, we all have certain, problems that we're facing. Not many of us started in the right way. I mean, some of us are born in such a sort of poor sort of family, struggling when you're growing up. But I've always realized that it's not in our hands where we were born and what state we were born in. It's in our hands right now how we lead our life and how we finish. I mean, how we take everyone to the ending of our life, right? It's all in our hands. And a book that I've sort of come across quite recently is called The Secret. Has anyone heard of the book The Secret? It is written by Rhonda Byrne. Has anyone? Yeah, I can see a few nods. Someone said no. So I can drop this later on. I'll put the title on the chat, and I do recommend reading this book because I feel like it is more of like the from the scientific background. They're saying how thoughts is a force, right? What I think is actually, it's a force that I'm radiating to the world. So if I want good, then how am I meant to think? Am I meant to think of good things, or am I meant to think of, am I meant to have negative thoughts? It's quite nice. They went quite sort of deep into thoughts. And one of the quotes that I really liked from the book, The Secret, is actually, it says, wait, I did have it written down somewhere. It says, it is impossible to bring more into your life if you're not feeling grateful about what you have. It's impossible to bring more into your life if you're not feeling grateful about what you have. And this very closely links with affirmation. I've always felt that, if you're not grateful, when you're grateful, scientifically, when you're really grateful about what you create this sort of like good sort of feeling straight away. The same as affirmation. When you say, I'm a peaceful being, I'm a powerful being, I am so happy. Already there's a shift in not just your thinking, but in your feeling. And most of the times it's our feelings that is sort of, affected in a situation, right? So imagine there is a problem. What sort of thinking am I contributing to the situation? It could be an argument. Someone's telling you about a work colleague. Oh, this person, this person did this to me. This person did that to me. So what is your contribution? How are you going to contribute to the situation? Are you going to think, oh yeah, how could this person do to you? You know, this person's horrible to me as well. Or do you have the power to sort of change the situation in a different manner? Do you have the power to sort of direct it? Like, okay, Nikita, you know, it's okay. You know, whatever has happened, you know, but we have the rest of the day now, right? You know, this situation is just small, you know, leave it, you know, life is short. It is true, right? Life is short. How much time do we waste worrying? Our life is already short. We have only this point to this point, but then we make it even shorter by stressing and, you know, worrying and feeling sad, right? So when you think life is short, let me just make use out of every single moment I have. You wouldn't want to waste it. You know, you wouldn't be like, oh, you know, this person said to me, you wouldn't really be contemplating. You wouldn't be, you know, you wouldn't want to even think too much about it. Let it go. You know, I'm like, it's happened in the past. I don't mind. I don't care about it anymore. Now let me think about the present. At this moment, how am I feeling? And another example I wanted to bring, I actually tutor mathematics like during my weekend. And I remember I got this one student. He came newly, and he's quite young. And he came and yeah. So he said, what did he say? So he said, right, I don't like maths. I hate maths. It's so hard. I need help with it. And then this is the first lesson. Can you imagine? And I was like, before we even start our lesson, there is one thing we already need to change. Let me tell you, maths is not hard. I've done it. At the start, it looks really difficult, but trust me, it's going to get easier. Maths is very easy. And straight away, he was like, what? Like, really? And I was like, yeah, I'm telling you from experience. At the start, I started to like, I didn't like maths. When do you not like maths? When equations don't work out. You're expanding the brackets and you get it wrong. You're like, oh my God, I got it wrong again. You know? So you sort of naturally you sort of like start hating it. But I was like, don't, you know, maths is so easy. And then you won't believe, we did a few questions on a particular really complex topic. You know, it's not like saying maths is very easy like that. Of course, it's going to be complex, but there is a way. And a trick that we can do is say it's very easy. You know, I can solve it. There is a way. And you won't believe, the student at the start, he made a mistake. I gave him a question and it was about expanding the brackets. It's quite simple, but he found it really hard. And then, so he made a mistake and I was like, okay, let's go through it again. You know, we'll start again. Don't worry. So we went through it again. And I was watching how he was paying attention. He was like paying really close attention. And then I gave him another question. It took a bit of time for him to do it. He got it right. And then I gave him another question because mathematics is all about practice, doing as many questions as you can. So I gave him another question. And this time he did it in a very short time. And he was like, oh my God, this is easy. Can you imagine? At the start of the lesson, this person was like, mathematics is very hard. And then just in a matter of like 30 minutes, he himself, from his mouth, he said, this is very easy. And I was like, that to me was a great example. Like, you know, how our thinking, our words, and the thoughts our energy can have an impact on someone else. And for that, affirmation is very important. It's very important. We're always like, there will be difficult situation, but it's very important to, at that time, think, how am I contributing to this situation? How can I make it better for myself? The situation is not making it easy for me anyways, but my thinking has a power to make the situation easy for me. Another example that came to mind is as soon as I graduated. So bear in mind, I went to a university in Wales. It's somewhere called Swansea University. So I lived out. I live in London. So I lived out for like 3, 4 years, obviously away from family, but I would go back home every once a month, whenever I get time. So when I graduated quite recently, I was like, I want a job really close to me. And the close location to me is Heathrow. So I was like, I really want a job really close to me because I don't want to live out. I want to stay with the family, I've all this time I lived out, but now I want to be more with family. I want to go work and I want to come back home. And as you can imagine right now, after COVID, it's been really hard to sort of apply and get a job, you know? I've been speaking to so many students, and getting a degree is a struggle, and then getting a job after that is a bigger struggle. Can you imagine you work hard for 3, 4 years and you're not able to find a job straight away? So I did engineering. So a lot of my sort of roles are based in central London or it's based out of London. And in my mind, I had it really fixed that no matter what I want to be, I will be working in Heathrow, somewhere really, because it's quite close to me. I will be working somewhere close to me and I don't have to spend too much time traveling. So I started to apply. Not just Heathrow. At that moment, you have to try and apply to everything and see what you get. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm going to work here. I made it really strong and I sort of fixed it. And I was applying to places quite like an hour away, an hour, 30 minutes, not too many places, just a few. And I ended up getting a place in Heathrow. And I'm working as a performance analyst. So it really sort of touched me that I really create my destiny. Everything is in my hands. Whatever has happened in the past is not in my hands, but whatever is going to happen today, the rest of the day, Sunday today, right? The rest of the day, tomorrow, next week, next year, it's all in my hands. Sometimes we think about changing the world, changing other people. But I've realized that the world outside is actually a reflection of the world inside. So if I want to change the world, first I need to change myself. If I want to change a situation, or if I want to change the way other people react, I need to change the way I act. It's quite sort of really a really nice phenomenon, something that we should really keep in mind. And yes, another thing is I just did some sort of scientific research. I just really want to know, what effect does positive thinking, what effect does affirmation have on our body, on our sort of brain? And this is what I found. It activates your neutral pathways and makes changes to those areas of the brain that makes you happy and positive. And various studies confirm that there is a decrease in the health deteriorating stress. And also it kind of pushes people to get out of their comfort zone. Recently, I've been having one challenge that I've been sort of, experimenting with is having a cold shower. I don't know if you guys you must have all heard about having cold shower and its benefits. It's talked about a lot. And at the start, when I heard about the concept of cold shower, I was like, really? I can't. First reaction was like, no, I can't. No way. I can't have a cold shower. But then I realized it's something that is mind over matter. When I went in front of the shower, this is really early in the morning. My mind was like, Biru, really? Do you have to go through this? Do you have to really, you know how cold it's going to be? It's going to be really freezing cold. But I was like, no, I'm really powerful. I'm really strong. Maybe it's hard to sort of start off with cold shower. So I was like, let me start off with a warm shower and then switch it to cold shower. So I had a warm shower and then straight away I switched it to cold shower, and straight away, of course, the body's in a shock, because you're doing it unexpectedly. But then you realize that body starts to sort of tuning in with that temperature. it doesn't feel that at the start for a few sort of maybe a minute, you feel really cold. You start breathing heavily, but then slowly your body gets used to it and you start enjoying it. And when you come out of it, when you dry yourself, normally we feel cold, right? Because of course you come from a hot shower, you come like there's a temperature difference. But I do not feel like cold at all. And I can see on the chat that some people are like, I have a cold shower every now and again, and I take cold showers whether it is summer or winter, but this is not for all. Yeah, that's true. It's not for everyone, but I realized how much, we can become our master, like how important self-affirmation is. Because I thought, I'm better than this. I'm stronger. I'm really powerful. Cold shower, it's going to feel cold. It's going to feel cold for a bit of time, momentarily, but it's going to be okay afterwards. It's going to help me in terms of my sort of health, because it really boosts your immune system, is known for that, So I would I would recommend you to do your own research and of course follow your health professionals. But for me, I felt like there's a lot of benefits that I've got from that. But the main lesson is, you can make the impossible possible by just through our mind, just through affirmations, just through positive thinking. And I'm just thinking if there is anything else I've missed out on. There is also, I don't know if you all heard of Sister Shivani, and I can see a few nods. So there was a class that I was watching of hers, and I found it quite interesting. She said she also took up the topic of affirmation, and she was saying, really repeat this in your mind. She said, I am a powerful being. I do not absorb the energy of people or situation. I do not reflect the same energy back to them. So I don't absorb the energy, the bad energy of people, and I don't give it back either. I transform energy. I respond with love and stability. I protect myself. And these few lines, I felt it was quite really powerful. Imagine we start our day like this. Instead of going on our phones, instead of, checking the news, imagine we wake up early in the morning, we sit for a moment with the self, and we repeat a few affirmations. We start the day really appreciating the self and saying and thinking that I'm really powerful. I'm very strong-minded. I am very peaceful. These words and this level of thinking becomes the seed for my day. Because I've grounded myself in these powerful thoughts, no matter what comes to shake me. For example, a tree is so grounded, no matter how windy it is, even a hurricane, you can see that some trees are standing after that. In the same way, problems will come and go, like the sea, right? The sea waves, it never stops. The waves will come and go. But we have to be the surfer. When a surfer sees a big wave, you know who I'm talking about when I'm saying a surfer, those who stand on the board and they surf, they go with the wave. So when they see a big wave, they don't get scared. They're like, oh my God, I want to go into the sea right now and have fun. That is sort of the mentality that we need to bring in our lives. When situations and problems do come, what happens? There is a sense of fear. We get scared. There's a sense of uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen next. But self-affirmation, positive thinking, allows us to become a surfer. And I can see someone sharing that I love nature and adapt my situation to healing nature. That's really nice. It's nice to see the comments as well. And it's nice to hear your sharing as well. Because at the end of the day, we are all a family. And it's nice to hear from everyone because all of us have experience of affirmation. It's a very powerful tool. So, yeah, I was wondering if we can maybe go into a nice sort of meditation experience.
Yes, I think affirmations have the power of motivating you to act on certain things, help you to concentrate on achieving your goals in life. And this is what actually is achieving you to do the right steps, to take the right steps. I, Self affirmations help us cope and well, cope with events that threatens our integrity and performance, I think.
100%. That's well said.
Yeah. Yes, let's do meditation.
Right. So I would request all of you to just sit back and relax. Make sure your body's loose. You're not holding on to anything. No phones, nothing close by. And you're just sitting back, really relaxed. Your feet on the ground, hands, your palms on your lap. And I hope I'm audible. Yeah? Okay. So I will speak a few words for a few minutes. And all you have to do is really repeat it and really sort of feel it. I start off with my breathing. I focus on the air coming through my nose and leaving through my mouth. I breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 6, and breathe out for 7 seconds. Once again, breathe in for 5, 4, 5, hold it for 6, and breathe out for 7. 5, 6, 7. Breathe in once again. Hold it. And breathe out. You can keep your eyes closed or you can focus on a point in front, but carry on focusing with the breathing. So breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Hold it and breathe out. On the screen of my mind, I visualize myself. I see my body, and around my body, I can see white light. I can see a white silver lining around my body. And this body is right in front of me. It is an exact picture of this body. And I tell this body a few words. You are a powerful being. You are so powerful that nothing can shake your mind. Nothing can steal your happiness. You are so peaceful that wherever you walk, wherever you go, whatever situation that you walk into, you're radiating the energy of peace and calmness. I make sure that in my mind, I'm visualizing my body. I make sure that my thoughts do not take me elsewhere. Let me really concentrate on this picture, on this visualization. Now I continue speaking to this person. You are so happy that you're the happiest person, you're the happiest woman in the world. Nothing can take your happiness away. You are so strong, a strong tree that whatever life throws at you, you just give fruits, fruits of positive thoughts, fruits of positive words, and fruits of positive action. Now, I put myself in that body, and as soon as I feel myself existing in that body, immediately I feel so powerful. I feel so peaceful. And I feel so happy that at this moment, nothing can make me happier than this feeling. I'm overwhelmed with so much happiness. From my face downwards, I can feel white light of peace spreading throughout the entire body. And this light of peace is going down my throat, my shoulders, my arms, my stomach, my legs. And this light is just bringing so much peace and calmness in my body. Throughout the day today, let me visualize different situations in which I bring peace and I carry this energy of white light around me. It could be when I'm cooking. It could be when I'm interacting with my children, with my grandchildren, with my husband, with any relations. Let me remind myself that I am powerful, a peaceful, a loving being. I have the power to change myself, and through that, this power will change others and will create a powerful environment. And slowly, now I come back to my senses. And let me rub my hands together and just spread this warmth to your face. Feel that you're spreading so much peace to your face, your head. If you have any sort of, pain in the body, really you can just direct that energy and just rub it, create that friction and spread that warmth to that spot where you feel like it's painful, and you would see a lot of difference. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
So if you would like to ask any questions, or if you would like to share your own experience, it's all open to you.
Can I share?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I think one has to be focused and positive
Yeah.
in every aspect of life. It's not going to be easy to let go, but only when you try, you can do it.
Thank you. Wow, that's so powerful words. Focused and positive. Maybe sometimes it's actually, I realized recently we get all these powerful words and phrases. I like to just stick them up on my room. So as soon as I wake up, I'm just seeing that straight away instead of just seeing my phone and seeing other stuff. So thank you so much for sharing, Manorama. Anyone
Thank you.
else?
Can I ask something?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
So we can do this little bit of meditation in the morning before you go to work, but during the course of work, there are a lot of huge problems. How do you remember to bring it all back to you to be positive?
Definitely, like I said, it's especially when situations happen, it's very hard to no, I say it's hard, but it can get difficult at times to see the positive in it.
Yeah.
But I realized something that I've been sort of doing really trained my mind, which is before I go to sleep, every day, I write 10 things that I'm really grateful about. And even if it's a bad day, it actually forces you to think of something really positive that happened that day. So in this way, you're training your mind to think positive. And you do this every day. Naturally, what happened to me when something that does not work my way, that does not go my way, I realized the effect of this practice. I was able to see when someone said something not nice, or when they have an argument in front of me, I thought maybe, that person's not having a nice day. So maybe what maybe I can bring to them is, a bit of lightness, a bit of understanding, just listening to whatever they have to say. It could be rude, it could be unpleasant, but then what am I giving back? So I felt like we have to train our mind in this way so that when problems and situations actually come, we're able to face it. It's like an exam. If we try to study on the exam, or before an exam comes, we start training, we start doing all these practice papers, and we start, studying the content, so that when an exam or a test comes, what happens is I'm able to smash it. I'm able to excel in it. So I realized when a problem or situation does come, recognizing that it's a test, it really helps. Instead of diving straight forward into the problem, I step back and think, this is actually a test paper. This is something that's gonna really test what I've been practicing all this time. So actually, this is the time where I can show what I've practiced, what I've been, thinking about all this time. It kind of reminds me of the story of someone. This person had a cup of tea, and he was walking by someone else, and this other person comes in and barges them by accident, and the tea just fell out. It spilled everywhere. So whose fault is it? Is it the person who barged into the person who had the cup? Or is it the person that had tea inside it? Imagine there was water, or imagine there was nothing inside the cup. What would come out of it? Nothing, right? So in the same way, problems come, situations come. It's not going to be easy. At work, there will be problems, there will be conflict. But they will come and barge into you. So when they do come and barge into you, what do you spill out? Do you spill out angry words and angry thoughts and angry sort of vibration? Or do you spill out peace, calmness, positive thinking, the right thinking? Sorry, Alpa, I can see you wanted to add something.
Say, there are two colleagues at work who just do not get on at all. It's an everyday situation, and every day something happens. They're horrible to each other, or they get nasty to each other. And as a team, we get involved. How do you control that? It's an on-day, everyday, Monday to Friday situation. How do you deal
Monday
with
to
it?
Friday. So I can, a lot of these times, it's not just in that situation. That situation is the product of their thinking the other times. So when they're not next to each other, what they've been doing, there's a lot of gossiping. I don't really like this person. I hate this person. You won't believe what this person did today. Would can you imagine this person said this person said that? So then when they both come together, because the vibrations already like that towards each other, there's conflict. So the right question is, what can you do? And it depends how much can you really contribute to that situation. If you're the manager, or if you're obviously, if you're really close to them, or if you have to really work with this, then how can you contribute to the situation is a good question to sort of think from. And I would say really sort of making sure that you're not involved in their karma. Meaning, if they are conflicting, you don't add fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
You don't say, oh yeah, I'm experiencing this from this person as well. Or, in terms of gossiping and stuff. That's no. That's a big no. The next thing is maybe having a chat where, like, if that person comes to sort of, speak to you about the other person, just say something that could kind of help is, I understand that things are not right between the both of you, but I feel like you guys can be good friends. No matter what happens, it's good to put a full stop. Because at the end of the day, we are colleagues. We have to work together. Especially in a business, if there's no cooperation and if there's a lot of conflict, it has an impact on the business. So when I realized that when someone is stuck in the mud, we can help them when we're not stuck. But if we are stuck in the mud with them, it's hard to help that person. So it's very important that my thinking is grounded, positive, and even if one of them is doing something wrong, don't see it. Take it from your mind completely. Tell your mind, no, I choose not to see that. There's so many, some things from my personal experience, or from hearing from other people. People have been friends for 20 years. They've done so many good things to each other in that period of 20 years. And then all of a sudden, an argument comes up. And then all of a sudden, it's not what that person has done for that 20 years that's in mind, but it's what people keep in mind is what happened in that situation. How could this person, this person has been my best friend for 20 years. How could this person, speak like this to me? So they break up, they don't speak anymore, and that's it. A relationship is, they could be best friends, but it's ruined, right? So when problems happen, it's always maybe from our side, of course, is our thinking. It contributes to the environment. So thinking everything will be okay. These two are enemies right now. They're not getting along, but they will be best friends. So that's where our thinking should start. And then slowly you will see that we'll start speaking the right words to them, in which we don't contribute and put the situation down. We actually make them feel good and we bring the situation a bit higher. Yes.
But
Yeah.
shouldn't be a person always be measured by his thoughts and actions? Um, the real education is in their behavior and care shown to the others. Would you not pick that up? Can it not
100%.
be picked up?
Pardon?
Can it, can that not be picked up by the manner who
100%.
you are?
100%. But what I realized is, especially when I'm in conflict with someone else, when I have expectations, it really does sort of ruin, not ruin, but because it does sort of, when things don't go my way, it does have an effect on my mood. So instead of that, when I'm independent from the start, instead of having expectations, I accept people the way they are, then whatever they do or say won't really affect me because I'm already grounded in what I'm thinking and what I know myself.
Veena, you got a question?
Yes, go ahead, Veena. You have to unmute yourself, by the way.
Yeah, namaskar to you all. Thank you very much. Very interesting, but I would like to raise that we do have conflict resolution, Alpaben, because it must be very energy draining. So you need to bring the specialists here because you cannot sort out the problem. Although you can say positive things, but we need to have specialists to speak to them. What is the real root of the problems? And that needs to be looked at. And this will settle the matter because this is what we do. I work at the hospital, and whenever we have conflicts, we speak as line managers, as managers, but you can see that, there's a lot of aggression. So you need to bring in the specialists, outside people who can speak to them as a one-to-one to discuss the problems, the root.
Yeah.
This is how we deal with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice solution.
Bring in the unions to fight for you, and this is how it normally does work. You have to bring a positive person from outside and fight for you, and
Yeah.
that does work. That does work because I've been with the government for 27 years, and I've been in the press office, and I've come across these things quite often. And you need to be positive. That's the main thing. Affirmation, positiveness.
That's our contribution. Exactly.
That's what I started doing. I just wake up with a positive mind.
Yeah.
And I keep telling to God, I'm your rising star.
Wow.
I'm your beautiful soul. Please give me the energy to just give me the strength to observe your energy. And my day goes so nicely. I keep away from negative things, It's mind over matter at the moment, by the end of the day, isn't it?
100%. Thank you, Aruna. That's a nice sharing.
It is. Every thought you think and every word you speak is affirmation.
It is, yes.
And I can see.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
The person, somebody say this in the office when she go into the office and they see the two people are still fighting or talking negative and they got a conflict between them two. I think as soon as you walk into the office, as soon as you start your journey towards the office, just visualize those two people and say that they are good friend. It's affirmation again, and they are calm and they are working together. Personally, it's happening with me because wherever I go, as soon as I drive to the hospital taking my sister because I'm a carer, or going to somewhere, I just always say the people around us are respecting and they are very good and they are giving the right treatment and they are on time and it's working. And it's really, I find it is very, really, really helpful. So affirmation, you have to start for those people who are really getting into that kind of situation, and you make your life and your day could go well as well. Yesterday I went to the temple and the ladies just didn't want to using two chairs and she didn't let me sit, although I got a mobility issue, my knee, and she just didn't allow me to sit at all. But then I thought, okay, she got a problem. I don't. I just went away and I just tried to sit on the floor. And the other lady came to me and she given me her chair. So it just worked that way. So it's a love, respect, and care. You just say that these people are working together with love, respect, and care and faith. So it's worked. It's worked for me. I'm sure it's worked for everybody if you just practice.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. That was
I
amazing.
think that's what I mentioned in the chat personally to you. That
Hmm.
if you swallow your pride, even if you're right, you know, life gets so much easier. The other person will mellow down and bow down in a way. So sometimes it's better not to argue, oh, they are like this, they are like this. Just make it, okay, it's my mistake, I'm sorry, you know, and things will improve. Things do improve.
That's quality of humility, isn't it?
Yes.
When you're so humble and like
Yes.
there's so much humility in you, and when someone just doesn't agree with you, but you just give them so much respect, at the end they will give you that respect back. I've
Yes.
realized something to observe is in an argument. One person, or it could be yourself and someone else. So argument started, it went out of control. So both of you are shouting, but then realize you start lowering your voice and you're starting to speak a bit calmly and see the effect on the other person. As you're lowering the voice, you'll see that other person starts to also lower their voice, right? So that kind of shows how I sort of, how I contribute to the situation has an effect.
Yes.
And Saroj said, like beautifully said, sometimes even if it's not your fault, not all the time it's your fault. When you say sorry, the other person actually realizes, wait a minute, it's not your fault. Why are you apologizing? It's actually my fault. They realize later. At that moment, you say sorry. It's not your fault. You say sorry out of humility. You're really humble. You give that respect to that person. After a few after a few hours or later, like, actually, you shouldn't be the one apologizing. It was my fault. Have you guys had that experience? I'm sure all of you had. I've had it many times.
Yes.
I've gone through that quite a lot. Even if it's not my mistake, I will apologize and continue the situation properly. And that way, that person, like you say, will think, okay, she's apologized. But being stubborn, that person will
Yeah.
not calm down. That will
No.
not happen. That will not happen. But in your mind and your heart will say, Panna, you have done it right. Leave it. That's it. Because this is your beliefs are merely habitual thinking, thinking pattern that you learned as a child. I learned it as a child as well. So no matter what happens, even if I'm not wrong, I will say, okay, it's my mistake. Stop the argument, finish. That's it.
True.
And in that way, you are actually able to sort of stay in touch and maintain a good relationship. I found that so much.
Yes,
You
that's
won't
right.
you won't have much conflict. You won't, really like hurt, like you won't get into arguments. There will be arguments, there will be disagreements at times, but you'll be able to sort of go through with it. You'll be able to come out of it.
Come out of it, yeah.
By bowing down doesn't mean that you've lowered yourself, you know.
No,
Yeah.
You don't lower
100%.
yourself.
No. Yes,
But
exactly.
many of them work very well for you if you
Yeah.
intend to.
Yeah. Something I sort of learned from the Brahma Kumaris is when I really respect myself and when I really value myself, it will be shown to others through my words and action.
That's true. Yeah.
So if I'm really sort of so full of happiness through meditation, through affirmation, meditation is essentially to me directing my mind. It's not just sitting there like, in silence, but to me, I felt like it's affirmations. It's really directing the way my mind thinks.
It's guiding you. Right.
Exactly. Guiding is the right word. So I found that if I really ground myself with so much happiness and peace, like the experience we just had, then that is what would sort of come out in certain situations. That's what I'll be able to give. So even if someone's not respecting you, or someone's not, like be giving value or like, saying bad things, it's really not going to affect you, because who knows yourself more? You. Only you know yourself more than anyone else. And yeah.
What you want and what you believe you deserve in many different aspects. You need to pay attention to your thoughts so that you can begin to eliminate the ones creating experiences which you do not want in your life.
Well said, Panna. That was really, like, that was really nice. And apart from affirmation, one sort of training that maybe we can all start today, and Panna can check with you next week, is before you go to sleep, noting down, a few points that you're really grateful for the day. It could be as simple as, today, I'm really thankful for the food, or I'm really thankful that my, son came to see me. Something that you really appreciate and you're grateful about. So it's a training. You're programming your mind to think. And if you do this every day, not every day will be, good. There will be days where there will be problems, right? But in this way, if you have this habit every day for 21 days, then it becomes permanent. The habit becomes permanent after 21 days. So that means when there are days that, there are problems in those days, you'll be able to sort of see the good in those problems and situations. And that's actually an art, to being able to see a good thing in a bad situation. It's an art. And if you master that, go on, Alpha.
It is an art because I think the mind naturally keeps thinking about the negative things. It keeps bringing back the negative. To bring out the positive every time is, I think, it's an art you have to build yourself.
100%. But it comes all by training our mind. Just like we train our body, we go to the gym, we go for early walks. In the same way, we have to train our mind, so that when things happen, I'm able to be strong, and I'll be able to have that sort of power to recognize that it's a test paper. It's a test paper. It's testing what I've been practicing all this time. And a lot of the time, one thing I wanted to share is, especially when there's a problem with someone else, it could be finance or whatever, it's very important to let the other person know that we are not the problems. I don't have a problem with you, but we both have a problem with this situation. So straight away, the argument will sort of go down, because that person also realizes, wait, the problem is not you, but the situation. This has happened to us. So that's why we're arguing. Why are we arguing? We're a team. We're meant to come together and solve this problem. So that's a perspective. I don't know if you all have heard of Jay Shetty. Some of you have. It's amazing how he sort of put it out. He said, the problem is not with the other persons. The problem is the actual problem. It could be finance. It could be, whatever, especially at workplace. You're going to have a lot of the like conflict actually starts externally. External meaning not between the other person, but something else actually happening. It could be someone like calling in, or it could be someone coming late or whatever. That's the problem.
Yes.
So yes, Panna.
I like to point out to Alpa that you must realize that every complaint is an affirmation of something you think you don't want in your life. Every time you get angry, you're affirming that you want more anger in your life. This is why we always say, calm yourself down, forget everything, say you're wrong, and full stop. Not every time you feel like a victim, but you're affirming that you want to continue to feel like a victim. This is not what you want.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to do is help those two, because this has been going on for years.
Yeah.
Every time they have an argument or they're bickering with each other, I want to stop them and help them, say, please stop. where is this going? It's not going anywhere, and it's creating, problems for somebody else. I just want to help them more than anything else.
Amazing. What
Yeah.
a good heart you have. A lot of people, if you find that a lot of people, instead of helping, they like to stir it up a bit. But it's
Yes.
really nice. It's
But
really
those,
nice.
but those are the jealous people who wants to stir it up more.
Exactly. 100%. But it kind of goes back to the book, The Secret. The Secret, it's about the law of attraction and of obviously affirmation and stuff. And they said that even if something happens negative, even for example, if I say, I don't want to be poor, so you see that word poor is there. So actually I'm attracting that. So instead of saying I don't want to be poor, what should I say? I am rich. So it's something that says in the book. I'm just quoting. So in the same way, instead of thinking things are not going well, another way to think is everything's perfect. Everything's going well as planned, even if it's not. So I realize some problems happen, and at that moment, we don't see the benefit of it. At that time, we don't see the sort of goodness in it. But later on, we realize that actually, I'm happy this happened. Have you guys all had those experience? If so, you can nod. Saula, I think, wants to maybe share something, or she just eagerly.
I had a problem like that, that I'm glad it happened. So it came out all in the air. So the other person realized that it's not only my fault, so sometimes it happens that if it comes out in the air, it's better and you forget
Yeah,
about it.
it's a way of releasing.
That's right.
I realize that workplace at times, a lot of people will come into work and they straight away, they're really angry and they sort of, speaking so much and really angrily. But I realize that's their way of releasing.
Sometimes it also happens and a person don't have a life of their own. So they like to interfere in somebody else's life. They can't see them happy.
Yeah.
Right, very true.
Yeah, it does happen.
But now let's become so powerful that we can actually be an inspiration to others around us. That even if someone's being jealous, let's not really see that and try and see the qualities in them. And that's an art. Like I said, art of looking at the goodness in everything, every people, everyone, even a criminal. If you see a criminal, he becomes a criminal. But if you see in his life, let's step back in 20 years before, when he was a child, he was actually a good boy.
Every being.
Exactly. He was actually a good person, but certain things in his life, maybe his father left him, or there's different things that happened. Maybe he went through torture, abuse, or something. They actually made him a criminal. So if you see every single one in this earth has some sort of goodness. So let's be the torch, the lighthouse. Let's be the lighthouse. Let's be the powerhouse and really show the path to the world. And for that, first, I need to be grounded and I need to be full of light. And I really appreciate this amazing group, women to women. I really it's my first time hearing about it, but it's really nice to see women, all of you guys come together every week to really empower yourself and charge each other.
We have learned a lot. We still students, we're still learning.
Amazing. All of us are
Very
learning.
nice. Very nice group it is.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's a nice way to sustain each other. I'm really proud. You guys are amazing. A big
Very
example,
true. It's
each one of you
really
guys.
beautiful group.
Yeah.
Lovely,
and this group is not for themselves only. They give to others
Everybody.
also.
Others, altruistic.
That is the main thing.
Any questions they solve.
Wow.
Very nice.
I think this could be the first point in your gratitude points tonight. So before you sleep, I'm thankful for this beautiful group.
And
Right?
you are amazing. You are also amazing.
Yes.
I have seen at Wembley also. I had seen you and Global House also. Murli's Antakshi you played, no?
Yeah.
Before some days.
Oh yeah, I realize the person I am is because of not just with me, but I chose so the information I chose to take in and the people I chose to be around. It has an impact on who you
Yeah.
are.
Just give me 5 minutes. I'm going to log on my class.
Oopsie. But
Yeah,
yes,
we're running over. I have to go as well. Sorry.
thank you, Panna. I will pass it over to you.
Thank you very much. Biru is from Sri Lanka. I don't know how long he's been here in UK. but
Actually, I was brought up in the UK most of the time, but family origin is Sri Lanka.
all right.
Beautiful country.
Yes.
Beautiful country. Exactly.
Okay, so what we have learned today, it means that what we believe about ourselves becomes our reality. Our thoughts shapes the way we act, and the way we act shapes our destiny. So at some point, our negative beliefs become firmer, and we begin to retreat from the valuable things in life and drag our ambitions. Relationships carry careers or friendships down that hole. For some of us, we think twice and it does work. If we think positive, that is positive affirmness. So please think about it, lure about it, and let's see what the answers are next week. Thank you very much, Biru. It was wonderful to have you again.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you again with another subject. And
Thank you. Thank you, Panna, for being an amazing host. I really
Thank
like
you,
your
thank
hosting
you.
and the way you speak and the contribution that you bring. Amazing.
thank
She
you.
brings everybody together.
I can see that. Yeah, I've just been here for what, maybe an hour and a half, but I really like the way the host really sort of
Without Panna, when the group is dull.
Gone. Finished.
Yeah, finish. We don't
a
feel
round of
properly.
applause to Panna.
Yeah.
Thank you.
True,
Thank
true.
you. Miru, that was wonderful again. As I
Thank
say,
you.
we'd love to have you again and with a different topic or continue the topic. I don't mind because today we've gone over 15 minutes extra. Thank you very much again.
Oh, I better go.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank
Have a
you.
lovely Sunday.
Thank you very
And
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Come
you.
Bye.
again,
Om
brother. Come
Shanti,
again.
everybody.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pannagan.
Panna.
Pannagan,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Panna. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye, Josna.
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, Panna. This was really good. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.